And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. I recently had the opportunity to watch F1 starring Brad Pitt. Now, F1 is the perfect example of a movie that you can predict every major character point as soon as you meet each character, and it doesn't matter. It is so well executed that all of that just goes away and you just strap in and enjoy the ride. Welcome to a really late movie review of F1. We'll be talking full spoilers, and let's get into this. Now, the F1 story is, like I said, it's one you can see coming almost from the get-go, okay? And it goeth thusly, okay? Ruben owns an F1 team, Apex GP. And halfway through his third season, his team has yet to win a race. And if they don't win a race by the end of the season, the board can force him to sell the team. Okay? So he's got 9 races. He's got to win at least one of these 9 races. Otherwise, his team gets forced to sell. Okay. You can see where this is going already, right? Right? So Ruben goes and gets his old friend and rival-ish, something like that. His old friend, Sonny Hayes, who played by Brad Pitt, to come drive for him and mentor his rookie driver, okay? Because an F1 team has 2 drivers, all right? Now, as you would expect, and from what we get just in the opening race montage of Sonny when he's driving at Daytona, the guy's sort of a egotistical maverick who does everything his way, and so he comes to the F1 team, and what does he do? He does everything his way, but he gets away with it because it works. Yeah, right. I mean, you see exactly where the story is going, and then of course they get to the last race. They haven't won one, and of course they win the last race because everything comes together, including a quote unquote miracle. And there they go. Okay. It's right. You can see all of this coming, and it doesn't matter because the movie is so freaking good, even though you can see it all coming. Let's talk about the characters as we come through. Okay. So we start with Brad Pitt, who theoretically is the protagonist, but I always thought the protagonist was supposed to have some sort of character growth. I don't know that he actually does. Okay. But he's an old racer. He crashed out of F1 30 years prior, and he is quote unquote that good, right? He is one of those guys who he can't settle on anything, and anything he races, he's just eventually the best at it. Okay. But he has all of the ego that goes with being as good as he is, right? And here's the obvious plot point, right? His maverick style rubs everybody the wrong way, but it works, and everyone jumps on board. Okay, Now he actually is he is a little bit of a jerk, but only while he's racing. Okay, and this is interesting because he treats everyone on the team with respect. Okay, with the exception of the other driver. We'll get to that in a minute. But like the pit crew, the engineers, everybody, he treats like actual humans who are there to help him win, right? Which is great. This is awesome. But he smacks around the rookie driver, Joshua Pierce. And honestly, the kid needs it, but you expect this is coming. The rookie driver and the old guy they've brought in are obviously going to clash. Okay, right now, Joshua Pierce, who Sonny insists on calling JP the whole time, and everyone Joshua's not happy about this, but everybody just jumps on board with the JP nickname, and Joshua complains. It's like, no, JP, it's a nickname. You don't get to choose it. It's like, well, you jerk. All right. Anyway, this is Joshua's first season. He hasn't won a race. He's not been doing well. Basically, unless he shows some success here, he's never going to win, or he's not going to get another job again racing for F1. So, you know, he's sort of going, but his focus is less on racing and more on his image, right? He's got his groupie there, friends. I don't know what his relationship is. The guy has like he's got his friend Cash, who has like no character at all aside from I'm getting pictures of you. We're going to post them on socials. You have to go to this party, right? Is his publicist or something, or I don't know. Now the obvious thing with Cash, this is the one thing that didn't happen. I figured Cash was going to be that selfish hanger-on who was pushing JP to go to all of these parties and these things so that Cash, could hang out with all the fancy people, because he would never get the opportunity to do that anyway. That never happens, okay? But his job is the publicist, get out and do publicity. Well, that's part of the problem. And obviously, JP hates the old guy, right? Right? He mocks Sonny in the first press conference, right? He's all this. And you know they're going to clash, right? You know Sonny and JP are going to clash. And you know eventually Sonny's going to buy into JP's going to buy into what Sonny's been doing, right? And you know eventually he's going to turn away from all of his influencer stuff and go to and focus on racing, right? Now, I'm not going to say he turns away from it completely, but he turns away from it when it matters. Specifically, when it's time to be racing, right? Because I don't know F1. I assume there's weeks between races, right? That's kind of what it sounds like. I don't follow F1, so I just assume that's kind of what it is. Between races, yeah, go for it. Post all the pictures you want. But when you're on site, ready to start racing, all of that should be going away. That's where your focus should be. At least that's the message. And eventually that's where JP sort of turns. But you can see all of that sort of coming. Oh, the other one, you know this is coming, again, from 1,000 miles away. The character Kate McKenna, plays by Carrie Condon. And she was all sorts of fun. I love all of the characters in the movie, which is why all of this obvious stuff that I'm going through doesn't matter. But you can see it all coming. She is the engineer who's designing the car. She left a promising aerospace engineer because she wanted the thrill, the excitement of designing the race cars. Okay. And you can see the minute you see her on screen, she and Sonny are going to end up hooking up. Okay. you just know this. And you know that she will design something for the car that makes it faster in some way. In this case, she designs, what do they call it? A wing? Something along the edge, the sides of the car that make it faster when it's in traffic. Now, Sonny, when he's talking to her about it, says he wants a car designed for combat. In other words, a car that can get in with the mix, stay close, and be fast when the air is turbulent because of all of the other cars around him. Okay. And so she designs the thing. And you know, right, she's going to design the thing that's going to make the car amazing in traffic. You know she's going to hook up with Sonny, right? It's one of those things. If you have watched sports movies, guy comes in to save the failing, and right, you know this is all going to happen, right? Right? What was the Muppets, right? I think that's just the name of the movie, the Muppet movie. Hey, they have to do something to save their theater before it closes, and obviously the something happens, right? All of these. This is a story that's been told 1,000 times, and here's 1,001, and it's amazing, right? The last character, I mean, Okay, the last character I think that really matters as far as the stereotype is Peter Banning, who he's a representative of the board. Now, this may be me being unfamiliar with F1. I don't know who the board is, right? I didn't know if it was the board of directors for the team. I didn't know if it was the board for some board in F1, right? A board of judges, something. I don't know. But he is the representative of the board, the only one that we ever see. He is claimed to be the most supportive member of the board for the team. And the obvious thing that happens, he actually wants to sell and make all the money, and he's actively sabotaging the team. Okay. Yeah, right. You could just see all of that coming. But, it's okay, right? And he's probably the weakest character of this group, right? The other one you run into, obviously, we talked about Ruben. He's the team owner, right? He's the one who's bringing in Sonny, and he's gonna be there trying to make his team win. There's nothing super obvious, right? He's never there to give. He's never there to give up, right? He's not that sort of character. He is sort of the emotional motivation for Sonny because this is his friend that he's come to help out, and he's passionate about his team. Okay, great character, played by Javier Bardem, does it very well. It said all of the actors, all the characters they play, maybe with Peter being maybe the weakest of a very, very good stack of characters and actors playing them. Yeah, he does it fabulously. I said there are a couple of things that come up. I said with his relationship with Sonny, his work with the rest of the team. Yeah, it's really good. And you get Sonny, he's an old guy. He's been doing some stuff for a while. He's not there doing all of the modern stuff, right? And they show that because they have to, right? What's the difference between Sonny's old school style and JP's modern style, right? JP's there hooked up to all the machines while he's running. He's using the electronic reaction board where you slap the lights and stuff. And Sonny's over there with tennis balls against a wall, right? He's out running the track beforehand. And eventually, more and more of the team is out running the track with him. And you can see, oh yes, obviously, things happen. So maybe Sonny's not going to be able to drive in the last race. What are we going to do? Of course, Sonny will eventually be back to drive in the last race. But JP steps up and he starts taking laps around the track. And so does everybody else, right? Right, it's that influence that obviously is going to have to happen, because why did they bring Sonny in? To shake up a team that has been losing for 2.5 years. Right, you can see all of these plot points coming. It doesn't matter, right? And this is, I think, the greatest part of this movie. Actually, the greatest part of this movie is the racing, all right? But what I think is amazing when you watch this is, despite the fact all of this is obvious, right? Okay, so there's some details and stuff you may not get. There's the obvious. There is, at some point, there has to be the head-to-head off the track conflict between JP and Sonny, and in this case, Kate, who brings them together for it. But it's all right, you guys need to work this out. And we need to figure out what's going on, because this isn't working, the team, right? Because F1 is a team sport. Okay. Now, so all of the details of how that shakes out, okay, are details. But each major plot point, these things are going to happen. But every one of those details is great. I loved every aspect of this. Yes, you could see the whole story, unfold without them having to tell you, because you see the character and you say, hot engineer who's designing these cars, oh, she is obviously going to hook up with Brad Pitt. That is just how this works. Right? And it's not that I would have been disappointed if that didn't happen. But you just know it's going to happen, right? But the way it all goes down is it's fun. And honestly, you don't come to a movie called F1 about Formula One racing because you're hoping for deep intellectual plots. No, you don't come to this movie for this. You come to F1 for the racing. And the racing was good. Okay, now, I'm sure there are aspects of the racing that I missed because I don't follow Formula One. Okay, I don't. I don't watch sports in general these days. But it didn't matter. They did a pretty good job, for me anyway, explaining what's going on, why certain decisions work or don't work. You know, for someone who maybe follows F1, it's like, okay, they kind of did something here that wasn't quite right, or stop explaining what's going on. I needed the explanation because I had no clue. I've watched cars drive around tracks once or twice, right? I have watched a little bit of NASCAR, which is not Formula One. I fully accept that. I have watched a little bit of Formula One. I've watched a little bit of Formula E, which is the electric vehicle version of F1. But that doesn't mean I know anything about anything. I watched the cars go fast. Woohoo! Cars go fast! Yes, cars go fast! And boy, you get cars go fast in this movie. Okay? You do a lot of cars going fast. And said for the most part, they do a great job explaining what's going on and why. Now, there's one bit at the end of the race. I missed an explanation. I know they gave it. I know I heard it. It did not sink into my ear holes. I did not understand quite what was going on at the end of the race. They put the cars on soft tires, which I guess are faster. But there was some reason why they had the extra soft tires. Soft tires, they had extra. They weren't extra soft. They were tires that had been still sitting around that they didn't use earlier. I missed that. I had no clue why that was a thing. I fully admit this is probably on me, okay? Because I was not, I don't know. I just missed it. But all of the rest of it, it's like, oh, why do you need soft tires versus hards versus mediums versus whatever? Okay, I got most of that during the movie. I can't remember most of it now, but I got it during the movie. And for those people who actually watch F1, I'm sure they really felt it. I mean, there are some camera shots that I'm fairly certain are those basic camera shots they use during an actual race. It's like I've watched enough racing over the years to know, especially F1, they have the camera in the car so you can look back at the driver and watch the tail fin do tail finny things or whatever. Okay, great. And they use that same camera. Maybe they updated it. Maybe they put on something, but they use that same basic camera shot in the race. So if somebody's used to watching F1 to see that shot, they get it. Okay, and they do it a lot. And you can tell this is some quote unquote authentic type view. Because, yeah, you see them and they turn and all you see is their gloved hand because it's in front of the camera and you can barely see anything else, right? Which I'm sure for F1 viewers who see that type of shot of racers in cars, like, yes, I know that shot. Yes, I am watching real racing. Yeah. Okay, I'm not that guy. But I'm sure for those who are that guy, it was working out great for them. Okay. The music was another thing, man. The music in this movie was awesome, right? Now, fully accept, may not be for everyone, but I loved it. And I think all of the music improved every scene that it was in, right? It really pumped the energy on all of the racing scenes. There was one song that confused the heck out of me. Okay, the song is called Drive, sung by Ed Sheeran. But I heard this song come up during the movie as they're heading in towards one of the races. And I'm listening to this like, man, this sounds like Blake Shelton. That is not Blake Shelton singing, but man, this sounds like Blake Shelton. So I'm watching the credits, and okay, now here's the list of songs. Drive, written by Blake Shelton, sung by Ed Sheeran. It's like, that is why it sounds like Blake Shelton, because Blake Shelton wrote the stupid thing. He's just not singing it. Gotcha. But it was great. There was some good music coming off this track. I swear, man. I need to go find this soundtrack and just make this the soundtrack at work sometimes to just kick some energy. I work at a desk. Sometimes I need it. Right? But the music was amazing. I loved it. And said it heightened every scene, and it was beautiful. You know, watching the racing, watching the cars, the cutaways to, now we're watching the broadcast with something, or they would overlay the broadcast map of where the driver's positions on the track were as people are talking about what's going on, right? It was phenomenal. It was a great way of keeping us as viewers in the loop of who was where. And the thing that was kind of fun is, unlike a lot of racing movies, the other teams were always the other teams. There was never we have this rivalry with this driver for Ferrari or for Red Bull or something. No, it was just the other team. And apparently they had a lot of F1 drivers there, right? I don't know who any of these are, but apparently Toto is a big deal or something, and he had a line in the movie. Okay, awesome, great. Go Toto. But I like that the conflicts within the team were only within the team. All of the other racers, yes, there is a little bit of, I'm going to say, maybe not history, because Sonny hasn't driven against any of these racers before he gets there, but he makes himself a danger to himself and others in some ways on the track. And so there's a little bit of history there, but you never get it off the track, right? You never get, this driver hates this driver. Right. You don't get that. You get, we are racing. It's our team versus their teams. And it's never, we have to beat Ferrari because Ferrari is bad or something. No, you never get that, which I think was actually a good change, because what the movie is about is, it's about the team. It's about the characters. It's about them getting out of their losing ways and becoming winners, right? Now, the reality is, okay, they do win the last race. Spoiler alert, that you can see almost from the opening credits. As soon as you see what the story is going to be, you know that they're going to win their last race, and that they probably won't win a race before that. I mean, the reality is, it's not like they won the season or anything like that. They won one race, and they've been moving up. They've started to get points for the Grand Prix, but it's not like they're going to win it all or something. They just won one race. All right. Now they celebrate, and they celebrate like they're Grand Prix champions. They had 0 points halfway through the season. There's no way they are coming up to win everything. But to win then, right? Yeah, that's awesome, and that's fabulous, and great. And honestly, the last sequence of the race was fun. So they get to the point in the final race where they're having that impending doom feeling. I don't know if you've ever had this. It's one of the reasons I hate Monopoly as a game. Risk is another one that has this. The impending doom feeling is that feeling you get when you know you've lost the game, but you still have to play until the game was actually over, right? And that's where they're at in the last race. They're getting to the last few laps, and there's no way they can win, and there's nothing they can do about it until there is a crash. In this case, Sonny crashes. And now, the good news is it's salvageable. They basically have to replace all of the parts on his car, but he manages to get back to the pit, and they can basically go through and start replacing all of the parts. All right, wonderful. This now gives basically a 3-lap race, and now they have an actual chance to win. And it's during this last 3 laps that you see Sonny and JP actually work together as a team. Yes, you see a moment where their ego is like, okay, one of us is going to have to sacrifice so the other one can win, and neither of them wants to be the one to make the sacrifice. Okay, that's fair. But what actually happens is really cool. And I'm going to spoil this because I think it was actually a really great way of showing both characters. So what you have is, I think it was Ferrari is in first place, and our 2 Apex racers are in second and third. One of them has to make a move to force Ferrari to block him so the other Apex driver can get around and get into first. Okay, this is team racing at its finest. Okay, neither of them wants to be the one to sacrifice because they obviously both want to be winners. Eventually, Sonny does make the feint. The Ferrari blocks him off, and JP races out to take the lead. Okay, wonderful. But he can't do it. He can't stay in the lead because his car is actually sort of inferior all alone. That's sort of the ongoing problem with the car that they've got is it's not the fastest on the track in straight line speed, but when you get mixed up with everybody else, it is. So it plays well with others. Okay. When they talk about being designed for combat, that's what they mean is we are faster when we are dealing with everybody else, and we can make up the time working through traffic. But all in all, they can't do it on their own. So when you get to the end, you've got JP in first, Ferrari in second, Sonny in third, and JP realizes he is not going to be able to hold him off. What he makes a sacrifice that's going to it's going to keep him from winning, but it will also keep the Ferrari from winning and allow Sonny to pull ahead and get first place. Okay. He asks, he realizes what's going on, and he calls back because they're in constant communication with their team. It's like, Sonny's still in it. Can he win it? Says, yes, he is. He's right there. Said, okay. And JP pulls some sort of move, or actually more to the point, he drives aggressive to, it's like, if this works, I win. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter because Sonny's right behind me and he will blow by both of us. And that's exactly what happens. JP crashes out with the Ferrari, leaving Sonny to race ahead and win. Okay. It is a move that said if it works, JP wins, and if it doesn't work, Sonny wins, but either way, the team wins. To show that JP has that maturity. Right? He is about the only character that has any real growth in this movie. He actually gains the maturity. That's part of the reason why Sonny was brought onto the team, was to help JP get over himself. And it worked out great. And the characters and the acting was fabulous, right? You get a lot of these movies, and there are a lot of them I can feel the acting, okay? Where it's like, yeah, this is an actor reading lines. And then there are movies where you feel like you're actually watching characters. You're actually watching people. And that's what I felt like throughout F1. The acting was always great. I never felt like they were acting. most of the character choices make sense for the character. The only time it starts to get a little ugly is during the last race when Peter, his true colors have been revealed, that he's been trying to sabotage the team. At that point, he becomes a caricature. Okay. But beyond that, it is really good. I loved this movie. I loved F1. In some ways, I regret that I only got to see it on a computer screen instead of in a theater with the sound and the power of everything. If you have the opportunity, it's not in theaters now. If they ever show it again in IMAX or something, yeah, maybe go see it. But or if you just have a really good system at home, this is the movie to stress that. It's awesome. So yeah, if you are into movies that are, you said, your stereotypical sports movie of last place team needs to win before or something bad will happen, right? This checks all of that. This checks any type of movie where if we don't raise so much money, we lose the theater or the whatever closes or whatever. It's that same story, but it is told amazingly well, and the action is great, and I love the characters. So check out F1. It's probably streaming somewhere. If not, Blu-ray is still a thing. Check this action out, and until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Static signing off.